Well, a nurse pleading for help, keeping her identity a secret for fear of retaliation, coming forward with what conditions are like inside Syracuse hospitals in the staffing crisis.
I'm rationing care every single day. I'm choosing who gets to see me for an appropriate amount of time and who doesn't. And it's, how do you make that choice? These are people, these are kids.
Tonight, new and exclusive perspective on the healthcare crisis in New York from a woman on the inside. She's a nurse at Upstate Golisano Children's Hospital, describing 16-hour shifts with no breaks and being asked to handle too many patients at a time. She's now sharing her story with our Connor White.
Behind hospital walls, nurses say they face a crisis, overworked and understaffed.
It's every time you go to work, you're planning to be there for at least 16 hours.
A nurse from Upstate Golisano Children's Hospital sat down with CNY Central under the condition of anonymity, concerned the hospital would fire her. She says Upstate is cutting corners to accept more patients than nurses can safely handle.
A staffed bed doesn't exactly mean a safe staffed bed.
An Upstate spokesperson tells me the hospital's 2,000 total nurses can maintain a 4 to 6 nurse per patient ratio. This nurse says she's handling almost the opposite, dealing with 5 to 6 patients at a time.
I'm rationing care every single day. I'm choosing who gets to see me for an appropriate amount of time and who doesn't. And it's, how do you make that choice? These are people, these are kids. Some of those children are supposed to be in the ICU, but the ICU is full, so they're on the regular floors, but you're forced to care for them in this regular assignment.
Because you're not specifically trained to work in the ICU.
No, I'm just a regular nurse.
But you're taking care of patients that need ICU care.
Yes.
We asked Upstate if the way things are being run inside is actually safe for nurses and their patients. They got back to us in a statement declining an interview, saying they're down 400 nurses and have reduced bed capacity by 20%, which they say ensures safety, something they call a top priority.
It's not working. It's not very safe.
This nurse describing a different reality, dreading the thought of going into work each day.
Have you considered leaving?
Yes.
What's keeping you there?
What happens to my kids if I leave? My patients if I leave? There's one less nurse. What happens to my colleagues if I leave? They have to take on my patients.
She says she's taken these concerns to managers and isn't getting help. Upstate spokesperson says mandates, essentially forced overtime, are common when there are shortages, and says we understand the impact this decision has on nurses and their families and are grateful for their understanding when this occurs.
A lot of the answers are there's not much we can do. We're a state facility. We're the only children's hospital for a large number of counties. We can't close any more beds.
According to Upstate, the problem is they can't compete with lucrative traveling nurse contracts. A spokesperson says the hospital has already increased overtime pay and base wages.
Yes, they need to be paid more.
Governor Kathy Hochul promising to address wages for nurses in her upcoming State of the State address. Upstate says they're eager to see the plan, hoping for help to address the staffing shortage. This nurse says not only do wages need to go up, they need legal protection to ensure safe nurse-to-patient ratios.
They cannot have more beds open if they don't have the nurses. And so they're going to be forced to hire more nurses and at what it costs.
Upstate says physicians and nurses work continuously to provide care as the region's only trauma center. But this nurse says they're failing to do it safely. And other nurses we spoke to off camera at other Syracuse hospitals say it's the same story everywhere. Too few nurses taking care of too many patients.
We're failing them. We're not offering them care. I love my job and I'm honored that I get to take care of them, but it's very hard to do it.
Did you always used to feel that way?
No.
Joining me this morning is Sergeant Matthew Malinowski from the Syracuse Police Department. Happy holidays, Sergeant Malinowski.
Good morning. Merry Christmas. Did Santa bring you everything that you wanted?
Some things. I'm still waiting for some things to be delivered in the mail, so hopefully I see them soon on my doorstep.
Perfect. Hopefully no porch pirates stole money.
You were very busy the week before Christmas. There was a shooting at Destiny USA, and a lot of people were concerned about safety because it is the holiday shopping season.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a reasonable concern. We wanted people to know that this was an isolated incident that occurred in the parking lot. It had happened between two males that got into a dispute, and then, unfortunately, one decided to shoot at the other male. So there were police officers on the scene working them all at the time. This did occur in the parking lot. As much as that, people see this is a mall and where people go, we have to remember there's a lot of people that go to this mall, and it's a possibility that this may happen. But like I said, it wasn't a parking lot. Police quickly responded, and we are making significant progress on the case. So hopefully we'll have some updates for people soon. But still a safe place to go, and like I said, police officer there during the hours of operation.
Speaking of incidents happening in Syracuse, it was a very monumental week as well as the Syracuse Regional Academy inducted some new officers. And there is an historic incident happening. The first Asian female police officer, and her family is very proud this morning.
Judith was great. She actually sang the national anthem, which was huge. It was a beautiful version of hearing that song. And unfortunately, I think now she's going to be roped into singing that for the next 20 years of her career because she was so good at it. So, but no, it's really important to know that we do try to diversify our ranks as much as possible. And it's important to know that, she's going to be representing a part of our community that's been underrepresented as a police officer. And she's going to pave the way to show that other minorities in our community that if you step up and you want to be the police, that you can make a difference.
And now it's time for your tip of the week. New Year's Eve is here, and a lot of craziness comes along with that as well.
Well, let's just say that, 2021's been crazy. We want to start 2022 on a positive note. So with everything, if you're going to celebrate the holiday, obviously we want people to be safe, plan ahead and get a ride if you're going to be leaving a party or anything like that. And then if you're traveling, obviously, just be mindful, check your luggage. So, we always find someone who happens to bring a firearm or something like this, like fireworks to the airport. Obviously, that's something we're going to discourage. They're going to catch it if you try to bring it, and we don't want anyone to get arrested. But a lot of the times it's just because people aren't paying attention. So know that you can't bring a gun, you can't bring fireworks on a plane. So just do a double take on your luggage, and if you want to be extra safe, have a family member look at your luggage for you just in case you had a brain fart or something. So that would probably be my best advice, is have someone else check your luggage for you before you go on a plane if you want to be extra safe.
And of course, this is our final segment of 2021. So for me, I had to pick the most memorable moment of this segment for 2021. And of course, I picked this viral TikTok video of Sergeant Matthew Malinowski engaging with cheerleaders at the Boys and Girls Club. This is my favorite part, as you can see. I had to slow it down just because that's my favorite part. Hopefully you can teach me that part. What do you think?
Okay. Thank you. I didn't have time to prepare for this. Well, I have to go find an embarrassing video now. So, all right.
Your face says it all.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. I had to get you. I know you're very surprised.
Okay. We're leaving. We're going to leave that. We're going to leave that in 2021. Okay. We're not going to bring that in 2022.
You pinky promise.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
And thank you so much, Sergeant Matthew Malinowski, for joining us this morning. We will see you in 2022.